Today, tickets to training camp and the joint practices went on sale at APHQ. And if you tried to buy them, you would have been in a waiting line that had at least 5,000 people in it. People lined up like this was a playoff game. Now, I'm not making fun of anyone. Just because it's not my cup of tea doesn't mean it's wrong to be excited. The point is, the hype is beyond real. And the question I have is the following. Have you become comfortable with the hype? That you're excited, you're not worried about being hurt, you're not worried about being disappointed, and you're just going to ride into the sun. I go on the air every day and I say the following. We are winning this division and we're winning a home playoff game. I have no fear of it. I have no fear that, oh my God, I'll be too emotionally destroyed. No, this is what I believe. You're winning this division. You're winning a home playoff game. Or you're on the other side. You have Lions PTSD. That while you are excited for this season, you're scared. You don't want to admit it, but you're afraid. You're in your underoos and you're making a mess. And they've always let you down. And they never live up to things, and you're in fear. I'd like to know 50 days from kickoff. We are 50 days from Lions-Chiefs on Thursday Night Football to open the 2023 NFL season. You've either become comfortable with the hype or you're in a state of discomfort. And you may never get comfortable until you get the result. I'm flying right into the sun. I believe in them. I believe in what they're building. And I feel like they're going to have a really nice year. Oh, what about the over 9.5? I think they're capable of winning 11 games. I think they're going to be a really good football team. So I don't fear it. Now, you'll say, well, you're a Giants fan, so it's not the same. Okay, I tell you how I feel with the Giants. I think Giants are going to take a major step back. I just keep it all on the level. I can like something like yesterday. I dislike Michigan, but I defended you. For the Lions, all I've ever asked is put a legitimate product out there, and I'll support you. I think they got a really good football team. So I want to know where you're at because Rico, think about buying tickets to a practice. Now, they were free. You just had to claim them. 5,200 people in the queue. While you're sitting there in line, people were calling Doug and Scott saying, I've been in line for hours. There's still 4,000 people ahead of me. Yeah. The hype.
The excitement.
Is real.
The anticipation is there. Probably the first time since the start of the 2015 season. They went 11-5. They lost to the Cowboys in a wild card game. Not going to talk about what happened in that game, but coming off of that game, they picked up Peloti Nada in the offseason. Prater, they brought in the kicker. It looked as if you had the final few pieces for this team to go from wild card to winning the division. I think that they'll battle Minnesota for the division. I think that the winner of this division will probably finish with either 9 or 10 games. So I can see they're going to be, unlike last year where it was god-awful and then red hot, I think it's going to be a little combination of both. But I do see them as one of the best two teams in this division. I can understand the hype. I see where people are coming with this. And, yeah, you're the best thing going in this city. So, absolutely. We've always said this city is ready to attach itself to a winner. Well, it's the Lions' turn because how they finish off the season, knocking off the Packers. People want to see that train keep rolling. Man, 5,000, free tickets, but you had to wait in line. I'm not shocked because they could have said 10,000 and people would have said, okay, yeah, I want them.
But I want to know people's comfort level. Like, to me, I don't see any sense worrying about it. I don't see any sense being scared.
Well, here's why. The comfort level, I think, for some is very uncomfortable because they let you down. Because every time you feel like, okay, this is the year, and they fall on their face. And you're like, wow, I did not see that coming.
Well, Stafford was the king of that. If we just use recent history, go look back in Matthew Stafford's career, and every time there was a high, there was an absolutely horrendous next season.
Yeah.
Didn't 2015, didn't they start like 0-5 or something following the Dallas playoff game? Didn't he get Caldwell fired in London? Wasn't that when that took place?
Was that the London?
When was London? And they played the Chiefs, and like they left Caldwell on the plane. The point is, every time they have a good year, they followed it up with something terrible.
And that's why some people can't buy into it because it's almost, you almost like superstitious, like Kenny in the pre-show. You're superstitious. You don't want to believe because if you do, disappointment comes and you're like, Mike, it's a reason why the same old Lions thing won't die.
Like I'm going into that opening game against the Chiefs. That's loose as a goose. I think they can beat them.
Chiefs?
Yeah. No, I don't give a damn. They're going to have the Lombardi trophy. They still got boners from last year. Lions are going to come in, show
hangover.
Up, and punch them in the face.
You think the Chiefs have a hangover?
Maybe. My point is I don't walk into that game scared. I don't walk into any of those games scared. I'm a Lions fan, and look, it does not make sense for me to go on the air and tell my listeners I think they're going to win 10, 11 games and then sit here and curl up in the fetal position because they have to play Kansas City on opening night. I view every week in the NFL you could lose. So if you're going to go with that approach, you may as well just be afraid of all 17 opponents. So I'm riding into this season, there's nothing to fear. I've waited years in this town. I've worked 2 decades in this town to have a team I feel this good about, to have a team that I believe is built on a foundation that's built to last. And they're here. So I'm not going to sit here and be scared about it. Now, I don't know what the comparative is. You know, Lions fans will say, well, you're a Giants fan. All right, well, then take it to being a Spartan fan. I mean, my whole adult life, MSU was SOS until Mark D'Antonio got there. Right. But the minute you change the narrative, the minute you don't behave that way, that all goes away. I don't watch games now like I used to watch them when Nick Saban was the coach. I used to have PTSD, and I know Nick Saban, for the young crowd out there like Kenny, they don't even remember he coached at State. But like, Nick Saban was the king of choking games away in horrendous fashion. Shout out Roosevelt Colvin.
Yeah.
Shout out Billy Cockerham. Shout out missing a 10-yard field goal or whatever it was at Northwestern. Was it Chris Solani? Yeah. Or, look, bottom line, when that changed, I've never gone back to that, although Mel Tucker's doing his best to bring me there.
Oh, no, you're there right now. You're there right
I'm
now.
close.
No, you're
Last year, really, I had PTSD from like fall of 98.
And right there is why Lions fans still have PTSD, because even though you experience good years,
right,
one little slip up and you immediately went back to your comfort blanket.
What this team was able to do last year after stumbling out of the gate.
Right. But Mike, if the team starts off 0-2, Lions fans will feel the same old line. Going back to what you said, they had just lost to the Cowboys. You got Haloti Ngata, you got Prater, you got a lot of pieces. You thought this team was going to get better. You were right, Mike. They started off the year 0-5. Then they beat Chicago. Then they lost to Minnesota. Then they went to London and lost to Kansas City. They were 1-7 after such hype.
Huge
and
hype.
Believing
Huge hope.
that this team had won 11 games the year before. They're about to take that next step. They fell off a cliff.
And again, I believe in the GM. I believe in the coach. Dan Campbell's earned that belief. You know, yeah, last year at 1-6, I absolutely told you. If he goes out and loses these next 3 games and is sitting at 1-9 and is 4-20-something as coach, guys, he may end up costing himself his job. I stand by that. But you know what he did with his back against the wall? They went out and won 6 out of 7. They went out and beat the Packers. They went out and won difficult games. They body bagged the Giants, who made the playoffs and won a playoff game. They did the things they needed to do, and I think turned a corner. So I'm not afraid. So 5,000 people sitting in line for free training camp, group practice or whatever it is.
Right, because you're undefeated right now, and you're still high off of beating the Packers and sending Aaron Rodgers off to New York.
Big time.
So a lot of people are buying the hype, but I understand for those who say, I can't because you don't want to get hurt again, because this team has hurt generations of people.
248-539-9797. I want to know, the hype is clearly real. Nationally, locally, it's real. Are you comfortable with it? And if you're not, I just want to know why. And if you're like, hey, look, if you think I'm crazy for being all in, that's fine. But I told you I thought they'd win 9 games last year, and they sure as hell didn't take the route that I thought they'd take to get there, but they did get there. And I believe they're going to take that next step again. I believe it's your division to lose. So I'm just going with it. And you know what? Hey, I'll be sitting right here 2-6 on that Friday afternoon if they lose to the Chiefs 38-3 and 17 guys blow their ACL out.
Yeah, and you know what? Say what you want. I'm not really counting that Chiefs game. I'm not.
Oh,
you go out there, you win, great. To me, the most important game is the Seattle game because either you go 0-2, and that's not a good recipe in the NFL.
No, your back is against the wall.
Or you got to show me, can you shake off beating the Chiefs and refocus again?
Yeah, and we're going to go ahead and beat the Chiefs. Let's just get that done. And we'll have a party on that Friday. Enjoy a long weekend. It's going to be exciting. Let's just do that. Let's do that. 248-539-9797. David, you look in pain when I said what I just said. Are you okay?
Because I do believe they go into the division, but I'm leaning I'm starting to get worried about all the hype here. I'm starting to get nervous about this here.
Why?
Because I think about their past, and then I talk with people, and it's like, am I really talking positive about the Lions? Am I really believing that they're good? Like, it feels weird to say.
Because when you speak good things about the Lions, history shows they leave you out to dry. You start writing checks and insufficient funds.
See, but then again, I look at it, and that's why I still can't get off the division, because I look at it on paper, and they are the better team in the division.
They're one of the better teams in the division.
Because of the past creeping in my head, I'm starting to question.
Well, I still laugh at the fact that, how they're going to win the division, but it's so quickly we dismiss Minnesota, which they got lucky. Well, okay. You went 8-2 to finish your year off. A little bit of luck was involved in that. But I do think that a lot of people see, man, every time I want to believe it's Linus. I mean, it's Lucy pulling the ball away from Charlie Brown. You think that this time I get to kick the ball. And in the end, even though she promises not going to move it, it's going to stay there. You can do this.
Don't say that. Jesus. 248-539-9797. We'll get to the people. We'll get some ticket texts as well. Got a football today later in the hour. We are going to move deal breakers to later today because tomorrow there is Tiger baseball at 2 o'clock. We'll join you after the game. We'll get deal breakers in the mix today instead. 97.1.